play of the game from way down.
1, 2, silence. Rainer getting absolutely
A team wipe.
The living bomb's going.
Oh my goodness, the ring. Bombstastic gonna find Rainer.
Oh, the life finder keeps Maev up. It was going to be a close thing.
And healing, what? Get out of, no! No!
Triple stun again. Big flanks coming out from the Blaze.
It's a death metal though.
Death metal into the double, triple kill.
All right, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Nexus Gaming Series. We're in Season 7, week number 5. I'm your host, Aero, and tonight I am joined by Munkus.
Hey, everybody.
How you doing tonight, Munkus?
I'm doing pretty good, Aero. How about yourself?
I am just peachy, and this is my first cast of the week. I'm excited about it. This is a Division D game coming out of D West between the Baddest Dudez and Luciodology, and I encouraged the Division to get their matches scheduled early because then I would come and cast for them, and so this was the first one that showed up, and so I did.
Fantastic.
So there you go.
It's nice to see that we're going to a place that's not the usual NGS meta.
Indeed, so why don't we take a look at that, shall we?
All right.
Maps. So for our maps tonight, we do have the bans being Baraxis Holdout and Cursed Hollow. That came from Luciodology. For the Baddest Dudez, they banned out Dragonshire and Towers of Doom. And as you can see, Alterac Pass is going to be our first game of the evening. And you know what, while we're flipping around, let's take a look at the standings here real quick once they load. There we go. So the Baddest Dudez sitting with 8 points at number 3 in D West, and Luciodology at number 8 with 3 points. So a little bit of a spread there. Luciodology looking to climb up to, I guess, the middle of the pack there with Randy Newman and Disturbance. Baddest Dudez looking to maybe take first place if they can get that domination tonight.
It'll be interesting to see what they prioritize here on Alterac Pass. It's what I like to call a 1-3-1 map. You don't have necessarily your standard offlane, and you have a lot of viable options on how you can approach your team comp.
Yeah, for sure. And we do see a lot of viable push heroes like the Sylvanas here, giving the extra pressure with the cavalry. You could even see an Asmodan here, some of those other heroes that allow you to push a little bit harder, even an Arthas. But right out of the gate, yeah.
Two heroes that I really like here are Abathur and Ragnaros. They allow you to contest the point while getting soak elsewhere on the map. So
Murden and Jaina, not either of those heroes, along with the Anubarak there. So a little bit of a tank choke coming out from the Baddest Dudez, and a mage choke coming out from Luciodology.
Interesting. Do you suppose that that's the result of some scouting?
It certainly could be. These heroes aren't necessarily, bad bans by themselves, although Muradin not often banned. Certainly the Jaina and Orphea, you can see some value, especially on a map like this where, you're in kind of tight funnel points. There's the Asmodan.
And the
Sylvanas. I do want to point out there is a stream delay, so if they heard it, just about the time that they clicked those in.
Sylvanas very good at maximizing your push on this map, especially when going she's always that sort of win more type hero. If you get a small advantage, she just a huge benefit.
So Junkrat and Mal'Ganis coming alongside the Johanna. So Mal'Ganis is going to be in that off lane, presumably, anyways. And Junkrat has poke for days on this map, allowing him to poke from across a wall pretty safely to slow down the channel on the prison camps.
Yes, Junkrat is often a high priority on Alterac Pass for exactly that reason. It's nearly impossible to capture the point if Junkrat is still alive. So he can be very annoying and very effective if played correctly. And the Mal'Ganis offlane, it's something that I've seen done a couple of times to decent effect. I think that it's a better option than using Mal'Ganis main tank. He has decent lockdown and has really good stuff to stay.
Somebody wants to play with a squeaky toy. So we do see the Dahaka and Lucio, go figure, Luciodology ripping that Lucio, giving him a little bit of a speed boost into the Nexus.
And I think this is one of Dahaka's better maps. There are a lot of little bushes for him to pop out of on the top and the bottom. It's a 1-3-1 map, so he's able to immediately get some soak and turn 4v4 into a 4v5.
And rounding out for the baddest dudes, we've got the Ana and Kael'thas. So, you know, that's a whole lot of potential sleeps. You got a root in there from Junkrat. You've got the Gravity Lapse, and of course Johanna's Blessed Shield and Condemn. So a lot of potential CCs coming out from the baddest dudes. Not so much, I guess, overall from Luciodology, but they do have, you know, tongues and hooks and, you know, a lot of potential push. So if they can get an objective, it's going to provide a lot of value to them.
It's good to see Luciodology sticking with their guns and picking Lucio, though. It warms the cockles of my heart to see a team stick with its guns like that.
Yes, that. Let's see. Lucio, Stitches, Takulu on. It is. Interesting enough that my my add-on here had about half of the team already set to the right heroes.
That is what you call serendipity.
All right, so we're going to Alterac Pass. We've got an interesting couple of teams here set up. It's a Division D West game. Mosher calling out Savior is the man. Savior is Junkrat. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of potential value out of this. Good Riptire could get some serious damage onto that Sylvanas or Lucio. Everybody else is a little bit tanky on the side of Luciodology, so expect to see maybe that % damage out of Mal'Ganis on the queue, do you think?
I think so, yes. I think what this game is going to come down to are two things. Can Azmodan get stacked, and can Luciodology avoid spreading the bombs?
I wonder if Ana gets Night Terrors against this beefy team.
Well, if anybody's getting Night Terrors, it'll be Luciodology against all the Mal'Ganis stacking effects.
Well, right now, what I'm looking forward to is the game loading, because it's taken its sweet time. It looks like maybe some people on Luciodology a little bit behind. Takulu, perhaps?
From my end, the game froze at the match starting screen, so...
Oh, well then clearly it's your fault.
Yeah, it might actually be my fault. The game might have crashed. Oh, nope, there's the loading screen.
Duty in chat, letting Arcane know that if he wants to make his cheering a little bit better, he could just, or a little bit easier, he could just say "Go Dudes" instead of trying to spell out Luciodology. And you know what? That's fair. That's a reasonable adjustment to make. Make your life a little bit easier. Go Dudes.
Go fighting Lucios.
All right, we are almost there. Just a little bit. There we go. I knew you could do it, Blizzard. All right, then. So I'm going to go ahead and start off with the left. We have the Baddest Dudes. We've got Cactus Ham on Kael'thas, Tutimas on Ana, Rondertaker on Johanna, Savior 123 on Junkrat, and Hacktrick on Mal'Ganis.
And for Luciodology, we have Takulu on Sylvanas, Galactos on Lucio, Eugenas on Stitches, Hintron on Dahaka, and Lemony Fresh on Asmodan.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, those are your teams as we are getting started on Alterac Pass. And we do see the Baddest Dudes splitting up a little bit, working their way to the top and bottom lanes with Junkrat and Mal'Ganis. And taking a look at these level 1 talents. Anything there that you like to see or that is a little bit unique for you? I already see one.
Well, most of these are standard picks, I think. The only one that kind of sticks out to me, a lot of Sylvanas just go that W build early on, but I always like the Q build on Sylvanas. It gives you a lot more early game potential, and you're using your E, your only escape, in order to deal damage.
Indeed. The one that I'm a little bit surprised to see is actually the Savor the Flavor on Stitches. Increasing his healing potential, his self-healing potential, but also his passive regeneration over time.
Well, it gives him some pretty good self-sustain. I have to be 100% honest, I am not super familiar with Stitch's builds. I don't see him that often except in Kidnap comps.
Yeah, it's, well, we do have up in the top lane there, Hentron pulling Hacktrick away as he did come up to try to get that gank, but the other 2 Stitches talents there, you've got one that's Globe Quest, which gives you movement speed and increased just base health, and then you also have, wow, I just completely blanked, one that increases your healing received by 15% and then also gives you healing anytime a minion dies nearby. So those 2 I think are more common. This is kind of less common. It's not bad, because again, it gives him a percent heal, an extra percent heal, because it's already a percent heal anyways, and increases his passive health regeneration, so it's not terrible. 2 minutes and 10 seconds though. No first blood, no camps.
Interesting. Sylvanas doesn't have any stacks on her W quest just yet. Oh, and
There's
as
one.
I say that, she got 5. She's telekinetic. She could hear my thoughts there.
Telekinetic, huh? Maybe with the mind control. That could maybe be a little
Here you go.
telekinesis there.
Maybe she's showing her hand on what ult she's going to take.
Megamuffin calling out that he approves, he or she, they approve of the E-Quest from Stitches.
Now
we're starting to get those camps, though.
Lucio taking Subwoofer. I don't think I have ever really seen a Lucio complete that quest.
You know, let's see, what do they have? They've got Mal'Ganis, they have Johanna, so maybe. It's not going to be easy. But even without it, you still get the extra range out of the knockback.
Right. You don't take that talent thinking that you are going to get the quest done. You take it for the initial ability.
So we've got 5 versus 4, big sleep going in onto 3, and Dahaka coming down gets the tongue onto Cactus Ham, pulling him back, but the follow-up not quite there. Eugene misses with the hook, and Luciodology zoning everybody out from the Baddest Dudes as they take a step back and reset.
They're doing a very good job so far of not spreading those bombs. That's usually what people struggle with against Kael'thas in these tight little corridors.
Yeah, and part of that's because they're not playing directly in that corridor, right? They were playing a little bit farther out, so they had more room. Now, that being said, Lucio speeding himself away there as Mal'Ganis chasing in, but Dahaka not quite able to stop the channel, but Stitches does come in for the pause of 3 seconds there.
Luciodology gets their level 7s a little bit early, so they have the advantage for the next couple of seconds.
Yeah, and they're getting that pressure back. They're pushing in a little bit. They're going to have another probably 10 to 15 seconds here before anything can happen with level 7s from the Baddest Dudes.
And they're starting to get a lot more stacks on their quests. Asmodan sitting at about 100. Sylvanas has about 17 on hers.
And Megamuffin just wants to point out that they always get their Lucio Q quest done, so...
I've never seen Mega actually play Lucio, so I'll take his word for it.
There you go. Good sleep coming out from Hacktrick to prevent Lucio from getting the channel, but the Living Bomb is getting spread now as Lucio was so low. Galactos going back in, trying to get that boot, but just doesn't have the health to get back into this. So both teams now pulling back a little bit as Dahaka's going back to refresh and likely will come back, likely has his burrow. But Sylvanas is well going back, and this one they definitely see. They tried to stop it too.
Yeah, that Junkrat cube just barely missed that Sylvanas. That was an incredibly ballsy hearth right there. Now I'm wondering, can Stitch's hook reach? I think it can reach the point from behind the wall.
It can just barely.
Big bomb
at
going
this level.
out. Getting spread around. Wow, that's a lot of damage on Luciodology.
Yeah, Lucio may go down with this as he's going to be the first blood from that Living Bomb, and Hacktrick's going to follow shortly thereafter. But the overall victory going over to the Baddest Dudes for the prison camp.
And that's what I was talking about. All those, the bomb spreadings, that is what made the difference in that fight. With that tight quarter, they just were not able to maneuver correctly, and they ended up spraying the bombs, and Lucio paid the price for it.
They did, but you know what? They're up a level at this point, so, and actually a little bit more than a level. There's a fair bit of XP on the table, though, for the Baddest Dudes here. So they'll catch up some, but, you know, they're not in a terrible position. They're going to be getting close to 10 around the time that this objective is finishing up. So as long as they don't maybe get dead here, as Takulu getting booped over the wall.
Oh, that's a dead Sylvanas.
Yeah. Not what they wanted to have happen. Dahaka's very low up here in the top lane as well, so he's got to be careful. So this is going to be some pretty good push coming out from the Baddest Dudes.
Yes, and I think the most important number right now for Luciodology is Asmodan stacks. He's doing a good job. He's at 170 right now, and he needs to be about 200 by level 11 or 12. So doing a very good job. That's going to make or break the end of this game.
Level 10's just about to come online for Luciodology, so Baddest Dudes get their fort, and they elect to pull back to safety. They did also get the wall up on the top fort, and including the turrets, and then just the wall in the mid. But with the level 10s, they're going to come in. They've got the Sylvanas to shut things down, but she gets booped over the wall.
Now, interesting that she had black arrows up. I'm surprised she didn't turn around and start wailing on that fort.
Yeah. Now Stitch is in trouble, is going to get taken out by the Snipe Eye of Horus from Ana. Let's go over these ultimates here since it looks like our teams are backing away. Why don't you go ahead and start with yours?
All right, for Sylvanas, Wailing Arrow, very standard. Lucio, Sound Barrier. Stitch is not opting for the Kidnap, instead going for Putrid Bile, having a little bit more lockdown in those tight corridors. The Haka with the Isolation, very good choice. And Azodan with Titus Sin.
Yeah, and I think those are pretty standard and good talents for their comp for the map. You know, Putrid Bile is really solid here. Yeah, I mean, Gorge has a place too, but really once your walls go down, Gorge is just not as much value.
Right.
So, checking out on the other side for the Baddest Dudes, we of course have the Blessed Shield from Johanna. That is Carrion Swarm, right? Yeah, Carrion Swarm for Mal'Ganis. We've got the Rip Tire for Junkrat Phoenix for Kael'thas, and Eye of Horus for Ana.
A little surprised by the Eye of Horus pick. I would have thought we would have seen Nano boost Kael'thas.
Yeah, that is a little bit surprising, but you know what? I think, if I remember correctly, when this map came out, Ana had either just gotten her rework or... And we're seeing a lot of ults here trying to get into this Dahaka as we did... Well, not a lot of ults, but we did see the Blessed Shield, which is a lot for trying to kill that one. And then Dahaka turns around and uses Isolation?
Not sure I agree with that. That seemed kind of like a little bit of a screw you isolation usage.
that was a middle finger if ever I've seen one. But Sylvanas, okay, is not going to go after the Kael'thas. So anyways, my point on the Eye of Horus was it came around the time that she had her rework and Eye of Horus, you know, became a thing. And this, with the corridors, can really do a lot of healing and damage because people just line up. But there's that Putrid Bile to sleep onto Dahaka, and Carrion Swarm is going to come out from Mal'Ganis.
Doing good job of using that Carrion Swarm to avoid the... Oh, and the Riptire goes down from the dunk! Wow!
Yeah, and the Sound Barrier keeps them all nice and healthy. The boop onto Stitches not quite getting him into a spot where he's in danger. Just a little bit of a displacement. And Baddest Dude's going to go ahead and clear up the camp that came down into the mid lane and maybe go ahead and get some soak up in the top lane and try to heal up.
Yeah, an excellent job in that team fight. That losing the Riptire without doing it any damage is huge. Big dunk going out, hits Kael'thas for about half his health, but Dahaka barely alive, goes down from the Eye of Horus.
And look at all the healing that Eye of Horus is doing through her team, and even got a fair bit of damage onto the Sylvanas, had her pretty low. Sylvanas having to back away, doesn't have a lot of mana, and almost, you know, took that hearth in the middle of the camp again. And that dunk, once again, 289 stacks, getting Kael'thas to about half health in one empowered dunk.
Yeah, that, like I said, Asmodan is doing well on pace. He's at nearly 300 at this point. That's exactly where he needs to be at this point in the game. He wants to finish that up by about level 16 so that he can take Pride at 20.
Yeah, and that gets the extra radius and damage, and that's going to be helpful as the Wailing Arrow goes out. Hentron pulling in somebody, I don't remember who it was, but Riptire going out. And quite a split here as Hentron completely by himself, zoning off 3, but no kills out of that yet, although... Yeah, Hentron getting sniped.
But the Eye of Horus getting a little cheeky to try to get the kill on Hentron, roots are in place, lets Sylvanas just walk up and wail on her.
Yeah, and don't forget, folks, that you can turn off Eye of Horus. You know, that's a thing. I didn't know that for a long time, so that's not me being a jerk or anything like that. It's a thing that if you're not really looking for it, you may not know.
Hey, I didn't know that you could cancel Tychus's Q by using Z until yesterday, so...
Yep. That one took a while to figure out, too. So we've got the top, mid, and bottom fort all gone. The cavalry in the bottom looks like it's going to get the towers here of the keep as well. As Baddest Dude's electing to come up into the top lane. They do still have a Ram Rider up here, and they're going to try to get onto Dahaka. They do get a couple of stuns on him. I don't know they have enough to kill him, though.
No, Dahaka is fairly tanky. Don't really know how much essence he has right now.
Well, Rip City to the Riptire as it got destroyed. No damage come out from that, and silence onto the Johanna with the isolation as well. She's just trying to make it out of there. But Dahaka is going to be, once again, the first one to go down. Lucio as well. Hack trick running it down.
Major. Asmodan finishing up his Q quest, so if Luciodology can survive till 20, they'll have a pretty significant range chunker on their team.
Yeah, I mean, they already do. If they can land those globes, then the damage potential is significant, even without the Tide of Sin. But level 20 is just going to make it all the better. Extra size to the circle there, and the extra 100 damage provides a lot of damage when you're trying to go against, say, an Ana or a Kael'thas or a Junkrat.
Is it 100 or is it 200?
I'm pretty sure it's 100.
It's been a while since I've seen the talent, so I'm not certain. It's significant, whatever it is.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, the real value, I mean, yeah, the 100 is great, but oh, look at this Dahaka once again coming in deep. Does get the tongue onto Mal'Ganis and misses the isolation onto Hacktrick, but the long-range hook. And here comes the Riptide, is gonna take out Lucio. But Ana's gonna pay for that Eye of Horus, and Hacktrick now deep in by himself, surrounded by red health bars. Looks like he's gonna go down as well. So 2-for-1 trade.
And both sides lost their healers, so it's up to themselves to sustain. I think that gives Luciodology a little bit advantage if they don't spread this bomb. Ooh, that was so close.
I'm amazed that this is still going on, as now 2 more kills for the Baddest Dudes. Okay, so we net out as 3 for 3. I mean, that, wow. I guess that favors the Baddest Dudes, because they did end up getting, you know, the 2 kills for 1 after they had the 1 kill for 2, so I guess sticking around made it work for them?
I think it favors Luciodology because they get more experience from the kills than Baddest Dudes do.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
It's hard to say when it's when it's an even trade both sides.
Yeah, I mean, even trade, but ultimately, I guess what I mean is that sticking around was a little bit better for the Baddest Dudes, because sticking around, they got the 2 kills, and Luciodology got 1 kill. So in that regard, I think they got a little bit more XP, and they didn't get run over. Basically from a 4 victory.
Luciodology should have quit while they were ahead.
I mean, really, both teams should have just taken a step back, I think, because they were all fairly low, and then they just kept going. But that's okay. We're here now. The Baddest Dudes up by 1 level, basically even. The prison camps are up, and Luciodology coming to the bot lane, gathering that soak. Maybe gonna look to get the keep for it, rather. Maybe not. I mean, they're all showing in mid, so I think they probably could have done that, but
they're being very tepid about it.
Yeah.
Letting Dahaka push up top.
And that's okay. I mean, Dahaka's going to get some value there. They do see the Baddest Dudes coming into the bot. The Baddest Dudes checking to make sure they didn't go for the boss there, too. And
I think it is a little bit of a mistake on Luciodology, but because they're now conceding the objective until they get 20. But they are getting a fort for free out of this, so it is working out.
Oh, the hook onto Kael'thas. But I don't know that they can get the kill, because it's just Sylvanas there.
If only he had Gorge.
Indeed. So they do not get the stall onto Kael'thas as he channels here. And check that out. So we do see that upgraded Eye of Horus. So now it's going to get the extra percent, 4% for every single hero hit. That can lead to massive additional damage and healing from Ana.
Yes, and she has been shooting through basically both entire teams with the Eye of Horus.
Oh, big sleep onto 3, and this is very bad for Luciodology as they do get the shield out. Riptire gets destroyed on its way. And the hook goes out and misses. Carrion Swarm onto 4, so he's going to get lots of healing. But ultimately this... Oh, good night, Lucio. It was nice knowing you.
Yeah, that upgraded Carrion Swarm, so deadly. And... Oh, but that's a dead Ana. But I think this is definitely in favor of the Baddest Dudes, because only 3 people to defend against the objective.
And it might not be 3 for long, depending on what happens right here. Yeah, they just missed that boot, but if it was a little bit farther forward, they could have potentially thrown Dahaka back, and that would have been a kill. So that top lane is pretty far pushed out, so that's going to take a while. But I mean, I don't see how they can't get at least 1 keep and possibly even a second, especially if they get a kill on Dahaka right here. But he does burrow away.
is in danger of losing the game for Luciodology if they can't mount a good defense at this middle keep.
And the healers available in 10 seconds for Ana, and Lucio's coming up now, so a little bit of... Well, no, it's not an advantage because Sylvanas is dead too, so... but they at least get the healer, so I don't know if I can give a value to either side here.
Ana has Eye of Force to go all the way from downtown to shoot her heals.
That is true, so she can set up and heal her entire team as the top lane is also gone here. And Cavalry's on the core. It's already at half health.
Core, unless they go back. 6,000 HP, 5,000, 4,000, 2,000.
So they do get it, but this boss wins the game.
I don't know how much health that core can recover before the boss comes a knocking.
Even if it's at full health, I don't think they can defend with a boss. And he pulled them off. The Dahaka Burrow managed to get them back away.
Interesting.
So Riptire's coming out, and this time it may actually get its target. It does. Dahaka's going to have to pull away. Ana's trying to get that Dahaka, and does.
Wow. I thought Dahaka was going to get away for certain there, but just that Eye of Horus, it doesn't get you till it gets you.
Well, and keep in mind too, I don't think they can win either way now, because if they pull back to clear the core, which they pretty much have to do, Baddest Dudez gets on this boss, and they're not going to defend it with 3, which they're trying to do now, 5 versus 3.
Asmodee is chunking Ana for about half her health each dunk, though, so...
Lucio popping the sound barrier.
Junkrat, I thought he was dead for certain there.
Yeah, we do see the living bombs getting spread here, and here comes this Riptire. This Riptire could be the end of, I was going to say Stitches, but Stitches is dead. Lucio also dead. And now the Baddest Dudez looking to just go ahead and come in and go to the core. As just Asmodan and Sylvanas, so if they aren't careful, they could find themselves just getting destroyed by a globe and Sylvanas damage. And there goes Hacktrick, just a little bit too late on that Carrion Swarm. And Tootie is rooted here.
Whoa! The level 20 upgraded isolation saving the core.
I don't know. I mean, I think they could have done it, but they didn't. And the silence coming out from Takulu, stopping the Riptire. What a defense here.
Core at 5,000 HP. If they just... Oh, man.
There are minions... Oh,
double kill!
And Kael'thas has nothing. He has no health, trying to get away from Dahaka, running into a bush, right into the Dahaka tongue. Oh my goodness!
1,000! Oh my gosh! Oh,
this feels so bad, because if you're the Baddest Dudez, you could have won before backing away. You could have easily done 2,000 damage to that core instead of going to the boss, right? And then they pulled off the boss. The Dahaka pulled them away from the boss. What a defense coming out from Lemony Fresh and Takulu, though. And then to have Hentron show up and help to get that kill onto the Mal'Ganis. Wow.
Well, it's as they say, you either slam with the best or you jam with the rest. Those dunks were absolutely key to securing that defense in what could be the game-deciding defense of this match. If they can come back here, this will be an all-time great comeback.
Yeah, this is like the 1 point Towers of Doom kind of recovery, because they were at 1,000 health on their core. Now, they're not out of the woods yet. Even if they get this cavalry, there's a lot of structures for their cavalry to go through.
There's a lot of... But there is a win... Okay, if this wasn't Alterac Pass, we wouldn't be in this situation. But also, because it's Alterac Pass, it's super hard to win off of one keep. They need to secure some kills here. And I think they should pull back a little bit and wait until they get the objective there with them. Push with the objective. That's how much spell power does that thing give?
I think it's 30%. It's 20 or 30%. Either way, it's significant, and they get a movement speed bonus as well.
It's 10%.
10%.
It's 30%. 10% spell power and attack. 30% movement speed.
Oh, okay. There you go. All right. So here we go. Got the defense going, and we do see the sound barrier going out. Rondertaker getting a load of damage there. Uses that storm shield. Riptire going out to get damage onto the cavalry. And the first cavalry is about to go down there. So one fort down, mid fort down, bottom fort down now as well. And the cavalry just getting started on the top keep.
Yeah, and they have Sylvanas. This should be a free keep for them if they push in with black arrows.
Yeah, and they've got the ability to bomb it from afar with the Asmodan. And Tudimos has to be careful with that Eye of Horus, as you know, we saw on the defense there at the core that the globe and also Sylvanas' dagger getting that 25 armor penalty, just shredding the old lady.
Yeah, that's really the biggest weakness to Eye of Horus. It's always hard to take an ult that roots yourself.
So we do see one keep going down now for Luciodology. The Baddest Dudez still in this game though, 26 minutes in. And they still have their mid and bottom fort as Luciodology looking to come up here, get set up, maybe try to do a bush gank on this top boss.
Yeah, I think they're going for the bush party. I think that's the right call because this is the win con lane. Oh, but they sniff it out.
Oh man.
Big hook.
And
Big Junkrat and Kael'thas both at less than half.
Carrion Swarm going in there as Dahaka's going to try to burrow away. Doesn't get away though, and 4 of them get put to sleep. Thanks to the the Junkrat gets hooked in though. Is it already at half health? Uses the Riptire to knock him back, and the tongue coming out from Dahaka. Lucio popping that sound barrier once again. Important to note, that's a long cooldown. He didn't take the level 20 to upgrade that. He took the level 20 to upgrade his healing.
Yeah, and I was thinking, hey, you know, I think Junkrat's been getting a lot of Riptires off, and he took the level 20 upgrade to Riptire. So every time that he hits people, it lowers that cooldown.
Yeah, and right now they, you know, once again, they see that they're not on there. So I think that they could have maybe not just walked into that. Mal'Ganis in a bit of trouble, does not have Carrion Swarm this time though. But they do have the Junkrat concussion mine to help with that disengage.
Oh, this is a giant wave pushing in mid, and because this thing the core doesn't have any armor, that might be a little dangerous.
Yeah, but the Baddest Dudez have to be really careful here, even though they have that wave on the core.
I think the core is going down. I think it's. Oh man.
I don't want to switch over there. We're away from the fight. It's very close. 7k. The minions are attacking other minions right now, though. And we do see the Riptire coming out on the hunt as Dahaka's hearthing and Luciodology pulling back as not quite enough damage from those lanes to kill the core. But Baddest Dudez coming in. They're saying, you know what? 9k damage. I don't think they need Junkrat back clearing to keep with that 40% armor. He's going to clear out those waves easy peasy. Yeah, I think this was maybe a little bit far forward for the Baddest Dudez to go chasing them, but Junkrat here now. Ana and Junkrat both fairly low though. The hook onto Kael'thas. This could be exactly what they need to get this victory if they can get that kill, and it's looking good for them as he goes down.
Yeah, Eye of Horus just not able to reach him in time to get the heals off. I don't even know if it would have worked if it got him. Oh man, Luciodology, this should be a free objective for them. 50 seconds, that's exactly the amount of time they need to cap this thing.
Juggy Rob, I'm glad that the stream is working for you, and I hope you enjoy the show. We do see, though, here comes in the bot lane a nice heavy push of minions, so Sylvanas has to come back and clear this. Oh, look at how quickly she clears that out. Holy cow.
Wow, that's that level 4 that she took, the unstable poison. All the minions exploded.
Holy cow, that globe just destroying Anna's health there. But Eugenia's is getting destroyed by the front line here. The silence, the contagion going on to Johanna and Mal'Ganis probably saved Stitches there as he pops the Putrid Bile as well. So this cavalry is about to come out. This is not good if you're the Baddest Dudes. This could very well be game, especially with the Junkrat going down.
Oh my gosh!
What a dunk!
These dunks have been so sick. Oh,
and
man.
this is a tough place to be for the Baddest Dudes. They are about to lose this second keep. They've got the they do have the third keep, so right now they've got the 20 armor on the core, but these lanes are pushed up far enough. This cavalry is coming straight in. I don't like the chances, but you know what? We saw it just a moment ago with the Luciodology, and look at how much damage they were able to get onto Lucio here. So
Lucio with 400 health.
Oh, Kael'thas though.
Kael'thas manages to get away. Oh, the super ham dive in by Sylvanas.
And the living Braum spread is real. Oh, there's a great kill onto Johanna though. And now with that, Luciodology coming in, gets the hook onto Mal'Ganis. Mal'Ganis has Carrion Swarm, just barely able to get it off. Does get the kill onto Sylvanas.
But now all 3 Wolf Riders are on the core. This is game! This is game!
Wow, what a game!
Oh my god. 2,000 HP on the core.
Wow. And you know what? For what that's worth, you know, you have to look at the difference of the core on Alterac Pass as compared to other maps. Other maps, the core at this level has 42,000 health, and it has a shield for another about 21,000. That's a lot to burn through. The core here, 28,000. If there are no keeps down, you're basically doing the same as the shield on a regular core. There's no reason not to go for that. If you've got an advantage and it has no armor, you gotta go for that. And as much pressure as they had, only 2,000 health, under 2,000 health. You know, I think that's a learning moment for the Baddest Dudes and many other players out there to say, hey, you know what? Let's just go for this.
Oh man, the Asmodan plays at the end. That's essentially the epic core defense with those dunks, saving them, never dying. The only person in this entire game that never died.
Tootie's over here telling us about his unfortunate circumstances with Eye of Horus.
Oh man, I wish I could have heard comms for both teams on what was happening in those last epic fights. Just amazing job by both teams.
Got 2 of my mates killed and let 2 of them live, says Tootie. Yeah, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. Eye of Horus is kind of it's feast or famine, right? You can do really well with it, but it sounds like the minimap was the challenge there for Tootie. So you know, Munkus, since Arya had brought up that we're looking snazzy, and I was just wearing a t-shirt, and you're in your dress attire as your beaver there, I figured I'd go get my suit coat. So you know, looking a little bit snazzy. I'm still wearing the t-shirt, but you know, I got the jacket on now.
Very nice, very apropos.
So,
we are some classy lads here.
Exactly. Making it a nice evening of Heroes of the Storm. So Alterac Pass going over to Luciodology, getting that 1 point.
I didn't look at Sylvanas' stacks at the end. I know she was at least 140 on her W quest, so she got that thing fully stacked. And I will say that this wasn't a case of one person doing all the damage for the team. They both, like, if you look at the statistics here, Asmodan with 135,000, Sylvanas 125,000, and on the other side, 141,000 on Kael'thas and 129,000 on Junkrat.
Yeah, I mean, both teams had really significant damage potential out of the teams, and you know what? Like, let's not forget. So yeah, the Baddest Dudes backed away, but let's not forget the MVP in this match, and it's not who you think. You might think it was an Asmodan or the Sylvanas. It wasn't. It was Dahaka, because without Dahaka going in on that bottom boss fight and pulling the Baddest Dudes away, they lose that game. Because that boss ends that game, no questions asked. Without Dahaka making that play, it's game over.
Hold on, I gotta write this out of my notes. 1v5ing saves the game.
It sure does. It's just like with Kaldor and Trixler, right? As soon as you hear that sound, Trixler bails. He's out of there, right? And that's what happened to the Baddest Dudes, is they heard that sound and they said, "Oh God, we got to back away." And why? Because I don't recall, but I think they still had vision on most of the team.
Oh,
so that
they
was
absolutely did, because they were clearing the waves.
right. That was just the threat of a contagion spreading across the team.
You can't be too scared to win. You got to go for it. Go for the throat. And also, I think this goes to show why you never give up. You never surrender in a game. You always play until the very end.
Absolutely. And and I did say it too right at the beginning of that defense that that ultimately, you have to be careful of the potential damage coming out of that Asmodan, Sylvanas, especially at level 20, with as much damage as they can do. And we saw it. I mean, the Dahaka showed up, he had just rezzed, came in, got the Mal'Ganis kill. The damage potential then with the Shadow Dagger coming from Sylvanas, and you lose Ana, and all of a sudden your push is gone. Absolutely crazy. So our next game is going to be Tomb of the Spider Queen.
An old classic for NGS. I think this is either this is the second most picked map in the NGS.
Yeah, I think the most is Infernal Shrines, isn't it?
Infernal Shrines by a landslide, I think.
Yeah.
This is a map. It is, I believe, this is actually the smallest map in the game, as far as like vertical height. And so you have a lot of potential to get picks on that off lane. You have to have a really strong rotation, really big wave clear. A lot of times it does come down to either which side has the better rotation with the better wave clear, or which team can just take advantage of those team fights.
Hey, do you remember what the third ban was for the Baddest Dudes? They had Muradin, a Nubarak, and then somebody else. Do you remember that?
Oh, that was ages ago. Oh man,
It was.
I do not.
All right. Chat, if anybody happens to remember what that third ban was, let me know so that I can write it down. Because I've got all the others, I just forgot that one. All right, let's go ahead and get over to our draft screen.
You think they're gonna ban Asmodan? Is the respect ban gonna come out?
I mean, this is a better map for As. It's probably his best map, honestly. So if they were gonna do it, okay, I wouldn't say no to it here. They have the potential to get, some significant value out of like a Johanna Asmodan here. The fast rotations between the maps or between the lanes. I don't know. It worked well for Luciodology. And this is a map that oftentimes seems to go to level 20. So maybe.
And Mal'Ganis getting banned, a respect ban. He did get a lot of work done for the Baddest Dudes.
Indeed. That's all I have to say about that.
His sleeps were pretty instrumental to setting up a lot of those double Q hits from Kael'thas. A lot of damage was able to come out because of the lockdown that Mal'Ganis provided.
Absolutely. It was Garrosh was the third ban.
Ah, that's right. And the Sylvanas ban, interesting. Sylvanas super strong on this map because she can easily turn a spider turn-in into a victory. Like, one spider turn-in is all you need with her trait in order to suddenly win the game. And she got a lot of work done, especially with that Wailing Arrow done in the last game.
Yeah, so we're seeing a lot of bans based on the heroes that they played last round. Still a lot of tank bans here from both teams this time. And Mega Muffin saying, hey, maybe the Baddest Dudes brings out the Azmodan. They did want first pick. So we'll see what they choose to go with on that first pick.
Hey, nothing like denying the pick by stealing it yourself.
So interestingly enough, they go with a Jaina. So Jaina's going to have the good wave clear. They were able to avoid it being banned out, as it was banned last round in the first slot there. So
yeah.
Another positive mage here for Team of the Spider Queen.
Yeah, she has excellent wave clear. Easily one of the best as far as getting it done. Maybe only Gul'dan does it better. But Kael'thas and Raynor both also excellent in getting wave clear done for Luciodology.
Yeah, absolutely. And, typically you see the Raynor paired with the Jaina, getting that ace in the hole value, but not tonight, as they are switching sides. And I think that may even be the reason why they picked the Raynor there, is to make sure that they couldn't take it.
Good idea to make your picks both on your comfort level and in order to deny the easy synergy with the other team. And Rhaegar being picked up with ETC, Rhaegar really fits well into a lot of dive comps where he can provide a little bit of extra damage, and he has that great healing for burst healing at level 10. But before he can get a lot of his healing talents online, he suffers a little bit in the early game.
Yeah, and early game, is where, at least for right now, the Jaina brings a lot of value. Of course, she gets better as the game goes on, just as any of the heroes do. ETC also, with the potential of a power slide and a knockback, has a lot of value early in the game to get a good pick. So, it works. They can go for a Mosh with the potential blowout from Jaina. The Rhaegar has the cleanse to help keep from getting interrupted, as well as the ancestral if they just try to burst them down.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they finish off their comp there, and the Lucio and Stitches pickup returning for game number 2.
So, I kind of wonder if this was originally the plan, or if they, are adapting the Stitches because of the picks and bans. Just because, so many tanks have been banned. 5 tanks have been banned out, and I think there's only, 12 or 14, something like that?
Something like that, but this is Diablo's best map, probably. This or Shrines. There's so many walls to slam people on.
Yeah, so we do see Dahaka. So interesting setup here. So Greymane going over to Cactus Ham, who last round played the Mage, I believe. Savior played the Junkrat. I hope I have that right, because that's how I had it written down.
Not certain. I had already forgotten. I remember the 2D Moss was on the
Ana.
Ana. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And I have that last game just fried my brain.
No worries. So let's see. It looks like Raynor's there. Yeah. So these guys are all set. They're on the right places here. So taking a look at these drafts, which team do you give the advantage to here?
Now that's hard. It's hard to say. It's going to depend a lot on their talent choices, on what they decide to go with. The guys go with more wombo. I think that the baddest dudes have the better potential, but it could be very easily for Luciodology to come ahead if they execute better.
Ooh, I just thought of 16s and how much craziness that's going to be. We'll come back to that, though, in a second here. Let's introduce our teams for the baddest dudes. We have Rondertaker on ETC. We got a Hacking Munkus, but instead of Hacking Munkus, we've got Hacktrick on the Blaze, Tootie on Rhaegar, Savior123 on Jaina, and Cactus Ham on Greymane.
My apologies. Galactos on Lucio, Takulu on Raynor, Eugenia's on Stitches, Hintron on Dahaka, and Lemony Fresh on Kael'thas. Some Lemony Fresh bombs going to come out here.
So I was just thinking about the level 16 when Greymane has the potential for, is it Executioner? I mean, it's something like Executioner, where he gets the additional auto attack damage for the CC'd targets, and you've got, I mean, you've got totems from Tootie, you've got Jaina slows. Tootie a little bit in danger here.
Whoa.
Does get hooked back.
Great hook.
Probably is going to make it out, though. You also have the Blaze stuns and slows from his Oil Slick, as well as potentially Combustion. So, you know, Greymane going in at level 16 is going to be disgusting if they can keep him alive.
Whoa, hit the button. We have Convection on Kael'thas. Super risky.
Well, clearly this was a misplay, and we have to restart the game because that talent doesn't exist in NGS.
No, it does not. Giving up a lot of sustain and survivability in exchange for 200 damage on those Qs. So going for the Q talent build for Kael'thas.
Well, hold up. Let's be clear. 200 potential maybe damage.
Okay.
Because if Lemony Fresh gets caught, he's toast.
Possibly the biggest weakness of Convection. If you die before you finish it, you might as well have not taken a level 1.
Yep. And Mana Addict is just so good. So much value from that. You get extra mana, you get the shield, and I mean,
even without the shield, I would still take Mana Addict because I don't know how you just don't have any mana pool without it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the mana pool value is great, but I think the shield is the real benefit. So we do see Rondertaker kind of diving in by himself there into a 1v4 situation, ultimately getting some heals and backing away, but the hook, and it's gonna be one
on point.
One cooked beefy boy there.
That's about what, 15 gems lost there?
It was I think 14, unless he picked one up as he was dying. He had 14 when he got hooked in. But that's a big loss. I mean, that's basically, you know, half of what they had, pretty close to it at the time.
And Turn-In is available right now for Luciodology.
Yeah, and that's big for them to be so far ahead now on the gem count. And they're basically getting most of these gems turned in for free as ETC just coming back into the game. We do see
huge tongue in bottom lane. Oh, wow. Hintron was able to get the tongue on Hatrick and pull him under the towers. That could have been a disaster.
Indeed. And the best part is I caught it on the stream. Yay. Welcome everybody from Mark Zombie's raid. We're glad to have you. We're in the middle of a match between the baddest dudes and Luciodology coming out from D West. 1 point so far to Luciodology, and if you weren't watching the game earlier, which you probably weren't because you were probably over on Mark Zombie's stream, you've got to check out game number 1 because it was crazy.
It was absolutely bonkers. Watch the game for 20 minutes, tell me who you think wins, and then reassess after 30.
I mean, they know who wins. We just told them. They can see the point. But Rondertaker going in once again deep into the enemy team with his power slide and the hook going out on the Cactus Ham.
I think Eugenia's is like 4 for 5 or 5 for 6 with those hooks. It's pretty nuts.
Definitely an upgrade over the Alterac Pass, which is kind of surprising because Alterac Pass has, you know, pretty defined areas. Oh, there's a missed one. But Undertaker gonna get caught by the wave? Oh, it just barely misses it.
Walks away with 200 health.
Level 7's up for both teams. Gonna go ahead and post those here as the Webweaver's getting some pretty solid structure damage out of a first set here. The walls down in each of the lanes. We've got most of the towers down as well.
Yeah, this is about as good as you usually hope for from an early Webweaver turn in. Getting down all the towers is pretty nice. It gives you a lot more options to push in later in the game.
Yeah, and Luciodology doing something a little bit unconventional, coming down here and killing this bottom fort. You don't see this happen very often as the first kill. You see them kind of push in the top lane because that's the boss lane. But that's going to give them a passive XP bonus for the rest of the game.
And
like
Mega Muffin has requested some convection updates. So, Convection Watch 2019, we are at 10 stacks.
Make that 11.
11.
I'm keeping the talents up for people as well because of that. So we do have the Siege Camp getting picked up in the bot lane for Luciodology, so that'll help to counter this Webweaver pressure. The Living Bomb spreading over to Jaina, though.
I think that actually with the Siege and the Catapults, that bottom lane will clear out all on its own, and that's a dead Lucio up mid.
Was almost a dead ETC as well, but he did manage to get out here as the jet propulsion in the burrow, though, from Hentron, and ETC almost gets taken out.
300 health on Hentron. Convection, we are at 17 stacks on Convection Watch 2019.
And so they got some damage on that mid wall. The mid wall's down. The two towers are still up, but have some damage. We likely could see Convection getting completed right here. Almost.
Only needs 3 more.
And the wave goes out, does hit 2 there. Got to be careful of those. Hook goes out almost onto ETC, but not quite there. And we are going to see level 10s coming up for the Baddest Dudes just slightly ahead of Luciodology as they do get that full wave up in, or the full wall in the top lane. So we've got the Mosh Pit, Ancestral. We do see that Combustion for Blaze, Curse Bullet, and Ring of Frost. And look at that, 10's now online for Luciodology.
Oh, see, I would have held on to Combustion for Blaze until I saw Kael'thas's ult, because, yeah, he goes Pyroblast. He sees that Combustion without Bunker. Pyroblast is free. We have Isolation on Dahaka. Gorge on Stitches, yes! Hyperion on the Raynor, and Sound Barrier on Lucio.
And that's about what I expected. I expected to see a Gorge here. It's a little bit easier to get, somebody behind a wall here than it is on Alterac Pass. Here's the engage. Ring of Frost goes out, hits Dahaka, but the Mosh Pit onto 3. Lucio caught, and it's going to be Stitches going down first, followed by Lucio, and Hentron pulling the ETC into the towers takes all that extra damage, but Jaina might go down as well. Oh, the chain heal just barely saving Jaina.
But this, can they get, oh my goodness.
Oh, Greymane.
Oh, Greymane's gone.
Good night. Yeah, that stealth isn't going to save you.
You can't hide from the fireball.
Decisions were made.
Convection is completed, everybody. Convection is completed.
So we're once again even in kills. We went from 1 for 1 to 3 for 3. 3 for 3. 3 to 3.
An even trade.
And now Webweaver's coming back again for Luciodology, looking to get another structure out of this, keep this pressure going, and they're getting started on the top already.
Yeah, I think they get top 4 for free here without any pressure, and they could threaten keep here with this Webweaver.
Yeah, and it looks like the Baddest Dude's coming in saying, yeah, okay, fine. We're not going to let this Web Weaver get any farther. Let's take a look at these talents again here. So we do have the, is that Quicksilver Bullets? Is that what that is? Yeah, it is. Okay, so for the additional range for Greymane. And mid, I think, also goes down here. So this is going to be all three forts for Luciodology. A great place for them to be in. Bottom lane's still pretty healthy. That's going to need to go down before too long, and that's going to give the potential for some wall damage. Cactus Hand gets caught and gorged, but there's the mosh pit. Are we going to see a kill out of this? No, they get the interrupt, and Tootie now gets pulled.
It's hit by the tongue.
Big combustion hits all four, pretty full. Savior maybe goes down here? Not quite.
No. Escapes with 300 HP.
Takulu, though, is isolated, and oh my goodness. The save's coming out.
No,
but ultimately goes down. But now, yeah, I was just going to say, but Jaina goes down to Living Bomb, and even Hacktrick might not make it out, but ultimately does. Level 13's online for Luciodology. And this game is looking very much in favor of Luciodology, and that's, you know, Baddest Dudes have to recover. They've got to make some plays happen here without sacrificing players, and they gotta, you know, they gotta get their heads back in the game after that first game loss.
It has to be very tilting to play, have been so on that cusp of victory and play such a long game. But yeah, you need to keep a cool head and remember. It's not over till it's over. You can always come back from, no matter how desperate the situation seems.
And they're going to get onto their camp here, which, you know, I like that. They get some value out of that. In theory, they may be able to, you know, turn in here. They do have enough for a turn. They're going to clear up their lanes a little bit here, though, and just try to get some soak. They have to be really cautious here because they're still down 3 structures, which means that the passive XP bonus continues in favor of Luciodology. They get a 60% bonus to that passive XP.
And important to note, Jaina only at 8,000 damage on Frostbite. She desperately needs to complete that quest so that she has a defense against the Pyroblast.
Yeah, because, I mean, Kale could just rip a Pyroblast at the start of every fight onto Jaina, and all of a sudden she's just gone. Maybe she doesn't die, but she certainly can't stay in the fight.
Right. That takes at least 80% of her health out in one chunk. It's, what, 1,600, and she only has, 2,300?
Yeah, 25, something like that. And there's the Gorge onto ETC. The Cursed Bullet onto Stitches, though. But ETC in the
Mosh! Whoa, the
silenced! Big stuns coming out. Cactus Ham diving in, trying to get the second kill, but Living Bomb is spreading here. ETC going down in the back to the minions. And the Kael'thas damage gets pretty good value here. It's a 3 versus 4, although Jaina is far in the back, doesn't have a lot of health, and misses that chain heal, so they're going to have to back away from this. Only need 5 more gems to turn in to get the Web Weavers, though.
But here's the problem. If they do get the turn in right now, look how far those lanes are pushed in. You need the Web Weavers to go as far in the lanes as possible when they spawn.
Yeah, and I think that's why they ultimately backed away, was to try to get the lanes pushed up a little bit here and get ETC back. Damn it, now you're making me cough. Get ETC back on the map here. Level 16s for Luciodology. We do see I don't even know the name of the talent, the Fury of the Sunwell, so getting that extra flame strike. And let's see, does Greymane take it? He's got to take it, right?
He's thinking about it.
I mean, yeah, he totally execute. It is executioner, yeah.
Yes.
I mean, there's no question with that. But we do see this fight starting, and Living Bomb onto ETC gets passed over to the Blaze. And Jet Propulsion in. There's that Ring of Frost, hits Lucio and Stitches, as Stitches gorging the Greymane, but Greymane's coming back out. They do get the kill on Stitches, but Jaina goes down thanks to the Rainer. ETC trying to zone out Takulu in the bottom there.
Galactos, less than 100 HP, manages to get away.
So a 1-for-1 trade, but and the Living Bomb spread. Oh, and Cactus Ham not looking like it's a good spot, but the Ancestral might protect. Yeah, it'll protect him. So trade Pyro for Ancestral, but Hack Trick there now has to completely disengage as he gets caught with the tongue. And this is, again, a very strong push for Luciodology, as they've got a bruiser camp here that they can push now with. Oh, the Q out of Lucio misses the mosh, so it's going to be Dahaka very low, but does manage to burrow and get out.
The Q from Lucio didn't quite reach, and Raynor, I think he was walking up the Q, but ended up walking into the mosh himself.
Yeah, it actually, the Lucio Q, I think, was close enough, but he was off. His angle went, you know, a little bit to the, I don't know, north, I guess, instead of right into ETC. So, but I think he could have, if only he was just a little bit better positioned.
Now, this is kind of a Sophie's choice here. What lane do you choose to defend? What lane are you going to give up? Bottom lane is pushed all the way up to the keep, so if they don't defend to that immediately, that is a dead keep. And Eugenia's going down.
Yeah, so now we've got 2 deaths here as Stitches and Lucio both dead.
They need to stop chasing, though. Those web weavers, they just lost bottom keep to get those kills, and they're going to lose the towers in front of their top keep.
Yep, and Luciodology coming in on this, saying, hey, we can get value here. We see that you're split, and ETC trying to make it away, does have the living bomb. Oh, power slides right in, almost gets the spread, as one of the web weavers officially on the core isn't going to bring it down, not even the shield. But so much value out of those web weavers.
Yeah,
1 3/4 keeps?
Yeah, 3,000 HP left on the middle keep, and bottom keep gone. It was basically all according to plan for Luciodology. They baited the trap with 2 free kills and got a keep and 90% of another one.
Not too shabby, and ETC power slides in onto the, wow, with the cursed bullet, but Hendron does manage to get the burrow to protect himself. Hook out onto Rhaegar, and there's the Gorge onto Blaze. There is no wall here, but they can create a wall, so he can't jet propulsion out. Ring of Frost hits just about everybody, and so much damage here as the sound barrier goes out. Mosh Pit onto the remaining 4. Oh my goodness! 3 kills. Lemony Fresh could be 4 in just a moment, and it is only Lucio alive, but the living bomb spreading.
I think that Gorge killed his team.
Wow!
Blaze got a 4 or 5-man stun, and it was followed up by the 5-man mosh into the blizzard. Whew. And this could be game.
It just might be. They have a full health team with a web weaver coming in. They've got 15 seconds before anybody can get on this, and they've got Greymane going to town.
This is game. This is absolutely game. Wow.
This was the moment that the baddest dudes were waiting for, and they successfully pull it off. What a game! Oh my god! 2 crazy games in a row.
It's like I said, you never give up, never surrender, no matter how bad it looks. It's not over till it's over. Oh, that perfect stun by Blaze into the 5-man mosh into the Jaina combo is just beautifully executed. Beautiful.
That was nuts.
Absolutely nuts.
Look at these talents. We've got the double Storm Shield between ETC and Rhaegar, really providing that sustain for their team. You know, the splash damage coming out from Greymane, and the Ice Blink, I think, for Jaina. So, you know, some mobility, some sustain, and you know what? Great job on them to keep calm and stay in that game, doing what they needed to do just to find the right moment. And I'm guessing that Stitches was not intending to gorge the Blaze. I'm guessing he was going for the Greymane, but ultimately said, this is who I got. So ultimately you're right. You know, Blaze pops that. Is that new habits at level 1? Yeah, and then
Yes.
Jet Propulsion's in and sets it up, and that's the play. So crazy games there. Oh, I forgot. I took off my jacket because it's really hot in here. But I can put it on for the drafting and all the stuffs. There we go.
Cootie Moss says in chat, a Game of Throws tonight, dear chat.
It is. So who's going to be the last team to throw the game? I wonder.
Oh.
All right, let's see.
Go
Where's
either
Marcus?
way.
Well, let me write down my notes about that game, because holy cow. Haka. Anything else you want to talk about from that last game, Munkus?
I mean, it was kind of the reverse of the first game. You had a team that's in control the entire game, and then just one thing goes wrong, and it just everything cascades. They had total map control. They hadn't lost a fort. They were in as good of a position as you could hope to be. Bottom lane was clear. And over the course of 5 seconds, the game turned around, and suddenly we're on to game 3.
And here we are. Why don't we go ahead and take a quick 2-minute break while we wait for the teams to get in here and get set up. We're going to game number 3 between the Baddest Dudes and Luciodology. Don't go anywhere, because this match is spicy.
When I was young, I lived a life of recklessness. In my selfishness, I inflicted pain and hurt those I cared for. I have learned many lessons in my struggles with doubt and fear. Balance and harmony are not easily attained. They must be fought for! But on my journey, I have learned another lesson. You do not have to fight alone.
Let's do this! Woohoo!
Play of the game from way down.
Two, silence the Rain are getting absolutely...
A team wipe.
The living bomb's going.
Oh my goodness, the ring.
Bob Stastinko gonna find Rain.
Welcome back, everybody. You're coming into game number 3 between the Baddest Dudes and Luciodology, and it has been a crazy matchup up until this point. I'm your host, Aero. I am joined by Munkus.
Hey everybody. Crazy games we've had tonight. Crazy games.
And I do want to say welcome to everybody coming over from Ziltoid's stream. We're glad to have you here. And Emmy, I see you. I'm watching you. Got my eye on you. Let them know that we're ready. So let's take a look and see where we stand here to start with. So again, before tonight, both of these teams were pretty far apart from each other. We had the Baddest Dudes at 8 points, Luciodology at 3 points. Now, with the 1 point that each of these teams have gotten, neither team has gone up in the standings. They remain in their positions at 3 and 8. However, the next point could potentially give the Baddest Dudes a 3-way tie with Full Meta Jacket and Clouded Minds, but it would keep Luciodology still in 8th place. But closer, very close, only 1 point behind the next couple of teams. So really important for either team to get this. And then just a quick look, we're going now to Volskaya Foundry. This map selected by the Baddest Dudes. And I believe that we do have everybody in the lobby right now, but I believe we're on just a couple more minutes of a break time, as you know, this is taking a little bit of time. So with the casters taking a short bio, I believe that some of the team also did.
Well, if game 1 and game 2 were exciting, I can only imagine how Volskaya is going to turn out with those crazy point C matchups.
Yeah, no doubt. And you know what? I mean, this is another map where the mages that we've seen so far, Kael'thas, Jaina, Asmodan, all of those have significant value here in a nice, tight, controlled area like Volskaya has for these control points.
Right. The thing that I like about Volskaya is that it has a big area to fight for the control points that you want to stick onto. So you have a team fight that's focused on a medium-sized area that still ends up being so much smaller than you want it to be when you are getting hit by those living bombs and Kael'thas cubes.
Secret wants the Asmodan. Yeah, and was it Mega asking about Asmodan in the second game? Obviously, we didn't get it in game 2, but you know, it could certainly show up in game 3, considering how the first game went, with as much value as came out of Lemony Fresh, I think, had the Asmodan.
I think Lemony Fresh is the mage player, yes.
Yeah. So just waiting another moment here. It looks like we've got most of the players back. I got more game than World of Warcraft. Oh, that's sad. That's sad.
Shades of Grey. Shades of Grey.
So how's chat doing tonight, everybody? Let me know in about, 30 seconds how you're doing tonight. We want to hear from you. Who are you here to root for? This is a Division D West game. The Baddest Dudes up rank 3. The Luciodology rank 8. Who are you voting for? Who are you rooting for? Who do you want to see win this game? Tied up 1-1.
Well, I'm with Secret and Mega. I want to see Asmodan, and I will root for whichever team picks that Asmodan.
Fair enough. Well, right out of the gate, we're going to see the Mal'Ganis ban that we saw last game, as Mal'Ganis was pretty valuable to the Baddest Dudes in game 1.
Extremely valuable. Got a lot of stuff done for them.
And so we've seen a lot of tanks banned out tonight, so it's not going to surprise me if we see more of that. And these guys listen to me all night. They're like, you know what? That Asmodan.
Oh no, I don't think chat's gonna like that, banning out the Asmodan.
But you know what? I think that's an okay call. You know, I mean, they've shown that they can make that Azmodan work, and Volskaya Foundry often goes late. I mean, this could be a 30-minute game.
Yeah, it might have been the smart call, but is it the right call to win you the fans and the hearts and minds of the audience?
I mean, that's fair. That's fair. And you know what? If you're gonna ban out the Azmodan, I think that banning out the Kale is another good choice for this map, especially.
Johanna picked up by Luciodology, losing that Stitches. Chat does not like the Azmodan, man.
Oh man, oh that's funny. So yeah, Johanna's gonna be the first, and you know what? I like Johanna here. She's really strong to hold on to the point, but we're gonna see Anub'arak Sylvanas. Anub'arak being banned out for the first 2 games is going to make his debut for the Baddest Dudes.
Chat also does not approve that Convection will be showing up in game 3. Yeah, Sylvanas is super strong in this map. I mean, like, with the way that the structures now target the Protector always, the fact that she can just turn off structures means you get a ton of value off of any Protector you get.
So, interestingly enough, Takulu taking Raynor with Lemony's Orphea, and I didn't mention it in game 2. I was thinking about bringing it up. When they took the Kael'thas, instead, my thought was, hey, well, they could have also taken Orphea, because Orphea has a lot of the potentials for slows and stuns and stuff that also would have comboed well with Raynor. They got huge value out of the Kael'thas. Ultimately, they didn't win, but I still think that it worked out for them. I don't think that Orphea would have necessarily made or broken their ability to combo.
Now, the one thing here with Orphea, I think she's got to go Crushing Jaws based on what I'm seeing so far, because there isn't any setup or lockdown to keep people in the Eternal Feast combo ult.
So you say that. However, Eternal Feast is a very short cooldown. It's like 50 seconds, I think. And it can work on the point amazingly well.
And you can always drop it on the Protector, and if the enemy team doesn't decide to get in it, then free damage.
Well, it doesn't work on the Protector if they're not in it. They have to be in it for it to work. But even still, that does oftentimes just last forever. And there's your potential for the Eternal Feast, is the root out Deckard. Even Alarak can provide a little bit of that with his telekinesis.
Yeah, keep them inside. Now, interesting, I'm guessing that's an Alarak off lane, and Alarak is pretty much the definition of the feast or famine hero. If he can get his stacks and keep them, he is an absolute terror to deal with.
And we're going back to the Junkrat, harkening back all the way to the Alterac Pass. So, interesting setup. So we've got the potential armor reduction from both Tyrande and Sylvanas. Sylvanas, I think, likely to go Merc Queen for the value from the turrets. But then on the other side, again, Raynor gets the value from Orphea, Deckard. I can't remember if there's a way for Alarak to slow or if he even wants to, but Johanna, I mean, there's a lot of ways to build up on that ace in the hole.
Alarak can talent into slows.
No, well, yes, of course. He also has his own ability to do so. That's true, yeah.
If he goes E-Quest at 1 and gets the triple shot on a group, then his E will slow, I believe.
The E slow is at 7. And it's just base. It adds to his
No, that's the telekinesis slow. I'm talking about his lightning.
Oh, you said Alec. I was thinking Raynor. I'm sorry.
Oh, right.
All right. Let's go ahead and take a look at our teams, shall we? For game number 3, the final game of this series, we've got the Baddest Dudes, Cactus Ham on Sylvanas, Rondertaker on Anub'arak, Hack Trick on the Blaze, Tudimas on Tyrande, and Savior 123 on Junkrat.
And for Luciodology, we have Tukulu on Raynor, Galactus on Deckard, Eugenia's on Johanna, and Hitron on Alaric, and Limity Fresh on Orphea. And Alaric is going the E-Quest at 1, so he is trying to help out Raynor to get this lows.
Yeah, so I mean, that may even just be, it's not necessarily the go-to talent setup currently, but not long ago it was. You know, so this may just be what they're used to.
I'm a bit of a fan of it just because you keep, it's one of the things that you keep the rewards for even if he dies. You still get your E progress.
Yeah, and this, I think, is probably one of the maybe easier maps to complete that quest, just because of the way that people funnel into the points.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll keep an eye on that, see how that goes.
He's not going to get the 3 shots while he's in the offlane, though he can get it stacked all the way up to 15.
Yeah, so we do see the baddest dudes getting onto their camp right away when this comes up. The Luciodology just electing to gather their soak, get their rotations, continue that XP.
Interesting. Orphea elected to go Growing Nightmare at 1. You usually see people take the increased damage on slowed targets.
That is interesting. That is interesting. Either that or even the Q build has been popping up more recently. So this is an interesting change, and that could get significant value if you can get the Deckard roots to land. I think that's the only. Well, I guess also maybe Johanna Condemns, because otherwise I don't think. I mean, there's a reason that talent's almost never taken, right? Because you have to hit 2 people with the end of it.
It's a very small radius on that ability, and it's really telegraphed when you're sending it out.
Yeah. So we'll see how that works out. I'm interested to see how the difference in talents works out, because again, I mean, they had some differences in some other talents that we've seen, you know, with the Stitches taking the E quest as well. That ability that I don't devour. There we go, the Devour quest.
Sylvanas is going Q build, which I approve of, and took Mercenary Queen at 4 to get that extra boost to her turrets, and will also shut off enemy turrets and healy doolies.
Yeah, and potentially we may actually see her just push in the top lane here with the siege camp, but we're not going to see that. Just clears the lane and go ahead and come down here for this fight.
Yeah. Oh, big stun by Blaze, followed up by big Tyrande stun.
Yeah, and Orphea throwing those Qs out. And the turret was used for the baddest dude, so it is getting some pretty decent value there. It is, however, going to go down. And the health bars of baddest dude's pretty low, but so is Luciodology. Not super healthy on either side.
Now, one reason why I like Kayn on this map is you know where you need to set up your potions on ahead of time, and anytime there is a lull, Kayn can just go chuck some pots up to pre-heal the point.
Yep, and hitting roots and the cube, the Heraldric cube, pretty simple. Because, again, there's a pretty defined area. So a little bit of a scuffle here. Once again, it's about 50%. You know, I think I almost would have preferred to see them try to get 7. But it looks like that's exactly what Luciodology is going to do, is pull off a little bit, get 7, and then come back in. Eugenia's going to get booped over the wall there and is deep into the team. But ultimately no kills. But that is probably going to net them the Protector.
Yeah, I was just checking her cooldowns. Her Iron Skin wasn't up during that last little bit of the engage.
Yeah. So enough damage to take down 1 tower, and they're coming up into the top lane. The siege camp up here did get some damage, but no kills on any of the structures. So Still,
I don't
sets
agree
him up
with
for later.
putting Raynor in the Protector. He is the majority of their PvE damage. He should be outside running and gunning.
Yeah, I agree. Because right now, with as low as the Protector is, it didn't actually get much more value than their Siege Camp.
No, in fact,
It's pretty close.
It's literally even. Like, it's almost exactly even.
Oh, big stun, though, from Blaze on the jet propulsion. Lunar Flare hits onto Raynor and does get the kill. First kill of the game from Tyrande, sniping that Raynor.
Yeah, there was a bit of a 4v5, and even though they got the kill, Luciodology's ahead in experience, but Baddest Dudes are taking advantage of the kill and getting the healing point. I can never say that correctly.
The biotic emitter being 40% of your health and mana it's practically like having an extra support when you go into one of these fights. And the control points are again so tightly packed together that the emitter covers most of the control point.
Right. And looking here at talents, Orphea is going E-build. Kind of figured that after she went the Growing Nightmare at 1. Alarak has done everything but hit people with 3 bits for his E-Quest at 1, 12 shots for his level 4, and went Apply Force at 7. But since they don't have any kills, he's sitting at 80% sadism, doing 20% less than if he had completed his quest and had to get a different level 7.
Yeah, and that's a big hit, especially in this early game when they're trying to get kills, but they do get level 10s first.
They pretty much got that on the back from the Alarak double soaking instead of focusing the push on that top well.
Yep. All right, level 10s online for both teams. Why don't you go ahead and start with the Luciodology?
Oh, spicy. We do have Eternal Feast chosen by Orphea, Counter-Strike by Alarak, Blessed Shield by Johanna, Lornado by Deckard, and Rainer's Raiders by Raider.
Yeah, and I like that Lornado. That provides a lot of value here, especially over like the second control point here, because there's such a narrow area for you to come in. But for the Baddest Dudes, we've got the Shadow Stock out of Tyrande. We've got Cocoon for Anubrak, Combustion for Blaze, Riptire from Junkrat, and Wailing Arrow for Sylvanas.
I just figured we'd get a Stay a While Eternal Feast combo.
Yeah, I mean, Stay a While does have good setup, and then you could potentially have the Johanna, Blessed Shield, and Condemn, Telekinesis to keep him in. So, generally speaking, I agree with you. That would be a really good setup. And I think that they're just looking at this and saying, you know, how do we win these control points, and forcing them off of a control point or keeping them out when you're about to try to get to that 100%, you know, does have a lot of value.
I'm just thinking if they use Stay a While and then Deckard cancels that, throws his root out, and then Eternal Feast on top of that.
Yep. I agree with you.
Yes, Mega, Lornado can push people into the Eternal Feast. He can also push them out of it. But big
look
stun.
at that. Keep going.
The Feast, it keeps going. It keeps going and going and going.
And Blaze is allowing it to, sitting at half health, and they do get the kill onto Sylvanas, partially because of that. Holy cow.
Wow.
Lots of stuns coming out here as both Anubrak and Blaze have that just huge potential for AoE stuns. Also the Tyrande Lunar Flare, of course. Ultimately 1 for 1, I think, on the kills from that.
Yes, yeah. Both sides were extremely low. One because of the Eternal Feast, and the other because, well, Healer's dead.
Yeah, and here they come. So Blaze is pretty low here, getting a lot of damage in from the Raynor, who's walking backwards on the conveyor belt. The Eternal Feast going out with the root, but doesn't get as much damage this time. Hack Trick deep into the back line, and damage is just continuing to destroy all of Luciodology.
Whew. That's a dead fort, and possibly more.
Yeah, I mean, this is a full health protector. They have level 13s. Oh,
They
and by
have
the way,
Sylvanas.
Sylvanas.
Ooh, yeah, this might be a keep.
They're all coming up, so I don't think I would like to see them go for a keep here. They might be able to get some like damage on the wall, you know, but they don't have Junkrat now, so the potential for damage onto the protector is pretty significant. And if they're not careful, they could lose, you know, one of those rather squishy backline targets here too.
This is true. Not having Junkrat to help the siege is pretty significant.
Yeah,
might have
and
been better to get the bottom well in that case.
Well, the bottom well's so far away, right? I mean, you lose a lot of the value out of the protector. I think that what they just did was what they should do, but here, I don't think is where they should go. I think they should have just gone down into the mid lane, because now they're coming onto a fort with no health on the protector.
But they do have black arrows.
They do, but they don't have a blaze anymore. I don't want to say I told you so, but I kind of want to say I told you so. Although if Blaze had 2 more inches, he would have hit 3 and had a big stun there, and then I'd be eating my words. But he didn't, so.
That Eternal Feast still getting value even without any setup.
Yeah. So Luciodology coming in onto the support camp this time. It's going to be on Eugenia's for Luciodology. Turret camp going over to the Baddest Dudes. And both teams working on getting to level 16. The Baddest Dudes slightly ahead thanks to that siege that they just put out and the 4 kills that they got.
Those 4 kills were extremely significant into getting them what'll be the 16 advantage for a good 30-40 seconds.
Yeah, and this, you know, the only downside, if there is one to that, is that it's in the opposite lane from the next protector. So, you know, this is a lot of potential for Luciodology right now, since they see them elsewhere on the map. They can get pressure in the bot lane, and pressure in the bot lane is exactly where they want it.
Right. Yeah, if they can get that, if they can get the bottom well down, not having that easy regeneration is gigantic for these point fights.
Yeah, and I'm kind of surprised to see them all come all the way to the top lane. You know, I don't think they needed that big rotation, because now the Baddest Dudes are doing exactly what I thought that Luciodology was going to do, which was get some of this damage started on this wall, and they're just going to get it for free.
And Luciodology did a very smart play. They had finished off the Merc camp at top, but didn't cap it until just now, and now you have a pretty decent wave moving in while they have 16 to take advantage of this fight on bot.
And you mean the Baddest Dudes?
Did I say the Baddest Dudes?
You said Luciodology.
Okay.
Yeah. But you're right. I mean, that gives them a lot of value. Of course, the point isn't up, but it doesn't matter. Well, now it is, as I say that. Bro charge in from a Nubrak. Not quite any follow-up there, though. But Alarak did get Lunar Flare stunned. So, wall's going to go down entirely. No towers. And level 16 is available for both teams, as Control Point C is just about to start.
Alarak only has 83 sadism. He took Pure Malice at 13, so he actually kind of wants his team to end a little so that he can get that extra damage.
There you go, Orphea. Get on it.
Yeah, just do a 4-for-4 trade. That's exactly what Alarak wants.
So I'm actually surprised to see Tudimas up here, like, standing around these minions, but not attacking them. So they do get the biotic emitter, but Nubrak in danger here. Cactus Ham as well, deep into the team, does get out, but now we see Hacktrick and Savior against 5. Concussion Mine saves him, though.
That fight is going on. Top lane. Oh no. That's a dead keep unless they respond to that.
Yeah, and this could be a dead Alarak with that burrow charge. The damage coming out from Sylvanas is going to secure that kill. And they're not done. They get the cocoon onto Johanna, and they're chasing after Raynor. There is a tower on that conveyor belt, but ultimately Nubrak says, I'm here. Where are you going? And there's that Lornado a bit late. Yeah, just a little too late. Interesting. Did you see that interaction? I've never seen the Lornado get pushed off by the conveyor belt.
I've never seen that because I've never seen Lornado used on the bottom point before.
I that's crazy. I had no idea. So Orphea's gonna come up here. She might make it in time to save the keep. And it looks like I don't know. There's still one guy attacking it.
Yeah, I'm watching it tick down slowly, 100 at a time.
Yeah, it looks like it's okay. So she makes it back. The Protector goes over to the Baddest Dudes. And with Sylvanas and the Protector's Glove, this is a dead fort.
Yeah, it's a dead fort, possibly more. And Orphea kind of having to babysit that top lane a little bit, because if it even gets a little breeze on it, that thing's going down.
And here we go onto the keep wall, and there's that Eternal Feast here. Oh, and they do get the root onto Sylvanas. Holy cow, that was close.
And the Protector is sitting in it. Okay, he just barely does his out now.
Yeah, but look at, I was just gonna say Deckard and Alarak, and the kill onto the Deckard rather almost got caught by the Q onto Alarak as well. But that's gonna be the first keep of the game for the Baddest Dudes, and now looking to get a second kill onto Alarak, they do. And Johanna's gonna follow shortly thereafter. This, yeah. 4 kills. Savior has to be really careful because he has no health. But ultimately, Raynor, the only one left alive for Luciodology with 150 health now. This is looking like it's gonna be game. Going over to the Baddest Dudes. What a play!
There's just nothing you can do here.
And there you go, ladies and gentlemen. The Baddest Dudes taking it 2-1. Finishing the matchup on Volskaya Foundry. And what a game.
Wow.
Alrighty, well, let's go ahead and hop over into one of the lobbies so that we can get somebody from the Baddest Dudes over here. I'm looking at lobby 5. See you there? And you're already here. Look at that. So looking at the talent, so jeez, 12-2 on kills. Let's see. Cactus, you or someone for interview. Lobby. So 12-2 on kills. The damage, overall pretty similar. Healing, Tootie got quite a bit of a boost there over the Deckard, and and then show up those talents. But it looks like we are joined by our good friend Cactus Ham from the Baddest Dudes.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Well, we're doing just fine. How are you doing?
We're doing great. I mean, we won 3 games, but only got 2 on the scoreboard.
You know what? That is a fair assessment of what happened. And you know what? I gotta ask you right out of the gate, because we're gonna come back to the better stuff. But that boss play at the end, I guess not quite at the end.
It was not at the end, which is that's what the mistake was.
Right. What should have been the end. So
yeah.
So just before that, all the keeps are down. Let's start with that. So what's the mindset there? Why do you choose to take the boss as opposed to go further onto the core at that point?
It was a misread, and it was us being a little too conservative because we've been bit a few times by trying to be a little too aggressive. And so you got to walk that balance, right? Of you have to win when you can win. And if you don't win, then you might not be able to. And that's exactly what happened to us right there. And it was a misread of the map too. As we were walking away, I'm like, wait, there's 3 keeps down. Why are we making this call? But by then it's too late, right? You have to commit to what you're gonna go do. So we were like, if we can burn this boss really fast, then we can just walk back in, and the core's not gonna be healed, and we'll just win anyway. And it's gonna be fine, guys. And it just became one more it's gonna be fine, guys moment. It's gonna be fine, guys moment after another until they won the game.
Well, and I gave the MVP over to Dahaka because of that play, because you guys were on the boss, and then suddenly Dahaka, and there's nobody for miles, just Dahaka, and you could kind of see, you know, I called about the Trixler and Caldor moment in their commercial about don't face check bushes, but it had that kind of moment of fear where I'm assuming you guys heard him come in and then you just scattered.
Well, we heard him come in and we were like, "Hey, Dahak is somewhere. There's no way his team could be here. Kill him, and then we can just walk in and win." But we couldn't do that either.
But the mind games, yeah, because he didn't know where he came from, and I think he actually burrowed in from over by the
behind
other fort.
us.
Yeah,
near our fort. Yeah, is where he came from.
Right.
And we're like, okay, he's right there. He did such a good job of avoiding kills that game. He was, I mean, yeah, hats off. I think it was Hentron that was playing him right, and he was playing some good Dahaka. Very, very annoying.
I would disagree with you because I felt like he died a lot that game. But there were definitely times that he avoided some very important deaths.
I think early game, it felt like they were getting their legs under them. Like, Dahaka died a bunch of times, and Sylvanas made some misplays, and we were like, okay, we got this. And, like, we rolled through that section doing pretty well, but then we gave them the opening, and I think it, like, lit a fire under their ass, because then we could not find another kill. Like, or if we did, they were getting the counter kill on us. And take the win when you have it in front of you.
Well, and you know what? Let's put that aside, because then you guys come back on Tomb of the Spider Queen, and Tomb of the Spider Queen was a little bit, almost the exact opposite, right? Because it felt like for much of that game that it was the opponent that was ahead.
Yeah.
And
yeah, it definitely did. They came out swinging. They wanted to finish it out 2-0, and they kind of had us on our heels for a little bit there.
So at what point, what did you guys say? What was the trigger moment or trigger point or comment or thing that set you guys up for what ultimately became the Blaze plus Jaina plus ETC, okay, let's go win the game now moment?
It was a just veteran experience of knowing to stay calm and that we're not out of that. And we just saw a team come back against all odds on us like 20 minutes ago, and we were not about to roll over. And they got like a really strong objective push. And we said, okay, we have plenty of gems. We need to turn in right now. We need to take a keep right now. We need to engage hard. We have all of our ults up right now. This is the moment. And we said, it's on you guys, tanks. ETC slid in, and the rest is history. It was a really good engage. I think we killed like 4 right there, and Lucio just had to back off. We knew we weren't gonna make the same mistake twice. Like, if we were gonna be in that position, especially with Greymane in that game, we were like, we can definitely end this right now. Like, there's no way they can stop us. Just keep them off Greymane long enough, and the game's over.
Yeah, for sure. So before we jump into Game 3, Monkus, did you have anything about Game 2 you wanted to ask or talk about?
Oh yeah, I wanted to ask because I thought that the exact moment that the game turned around was when Stitches had gorged Blaze. And in my mind, like, I was just thinking, this is going to be a bad time. This is just going to be a bad time, because...
Yeah, Stitches put Blaze right where we needed Blaze to be.
Yeah, he got that 5-man stun into the 5-man mosh. It was just so beautifully done. And yeah, like, I really feel like that both of you guys should be able to just go back to NGS and say, yeah, we won 2-0, easy peasy.
We feel like we should be able to do that also, but we have to clean up our Alterac game. We got to be able to close games out so that we can get the domination wins. I mean, we spent the whole NGS offseason in training and trying to make a run at the division and make sure that people are going to take us seriously, and we will learn from this. We're not gonna just brush it off like, oh yeah, we should have won that. We won't make that mistake again, because we want to say we're getting dominations.
There's a quote that I like, and it's never waste a failure. Always learn from your mistakes. You can, if you fail in something or if you don't succeed, you can always learn something from that and succeed later on.
Yeah, I like that a lot, and that's like it might not be an official team mantra, but I think it's the way that all of our players play.
So game number 3, you guys actually selected Volskaya Foundry.
Yep.
You had first pick the other 2, and you pretty handily won that game. This was another game where you guys were in charge for the bulk of the game. You had a significant CC chain out of the Blaze and Ubrak Tyrande, and it was kind of interesting. You guys had been banning Ubrak all night, and then you picked up the Ubrak after they who'd they first pick? Johanna, I think.
They picked Joe.
So there was quite a tank choke throughout the night, and you guys set this play up. What's going through your mind at the beginning of the game when you're setting up this draft, when you see what they're selecting, and you see, of course, things like the Orphea, who's going to go Eternal Feast, and the Johanna, that's just a monster on the point to try to move off. What's your plan? How do you make this a game 3 victory for you?
Well, we love Johanna on this map. Because, like you said, she's a monster on this point. But we knew that they would first pick Johanna if we gave Joe to her, so we could kind of draft around that, knowing, kind of anticipating what a few of their picks were going to be. We figured they were going to go Orphea. We knew that they were going to go Joe, so we knew we didn't have to ban a noob because we were going to get it. We didn't have to ban Sylvanas because unless they banned her, we were going to get it. And we love a noob on this map, and we love Sylvanas on this map. So it was just kind of anticipating their draft and reading it well, and they left Blaze open again, so we were like, why wouldn't we play Blaze on him again? Worked out pretty well the first time. And when they took Alarak last, and with the solo frontline Joe, it just made a noob look better, right? Like, if she's a problem, then we can just cocoon her, and then we can go kill that Alarak or that Raynor or someone that is going to have a hard time escaping. And we had a good stun chain. We had, our front line was playing really good today, and those team fights were glorious. Like, they just bunching them up for big silences, for big bomb or rip tires. And it's our map. We feel like we're really strong on that map. We knew that they were not going to take it from us. We wanted to get out to an early lead and just hang on to it. And I think that Ultrat game really got under our skin. I know it got under mine. I was like, this is not going to go to a 4th protector. That's silly. We're going to win this on 3. Let's do this.
Sure. So what was your favorite moment of the matchup tonight?
Favorite moment of the matchup? My personal favorite moment was I was about to die and Junkrat made an awesome save, blowing people away bot lane. I think we just had really good team fights all night long, so I can't pick a particular one. I just really like the way that our team played tonight in terms of really decisive, aggressive engages when we took them, and having the confidence to know that when we were taking the fight that we were going to win it, and to stay in there. We had to actually, even though there's not a W next to that Ultrat game, there's some plays before that bad call that were really good, and I think that there's a lot of good to take away from that game also. So I just liked a lot of the stuff we did there.
Absolutely. Yeah, all 3 games, had their moments, some for both teams. Really have to shout out Luciodology because they put up a good fight. They managed to secure that point in game 1. They had a really strong game 2, and just ultimately, probably had a misclick on who they gorged, because I think they were looking for that gray main, and unfortunately Blaze was just a little bit too close there.
It was a really fun series, so I definitely want to give Luciodology plenty of credit. And we played them before in Heroes Lounge, and they beat us up, and they beat us on Ultrax, so I think that kind of went into some of their decision making as to why they wanted to play that against us first.
Yeah.
So it feels good to get some wins back off of them.
Sure. Well, and Munkus had to step out to go to Ziltoid's stream, so I'm not going to ask him if he has any questions for you. So you know what, I've got all my questions answered, so I'm just going to go ahead and give the floor to you for anything that you'd like to say to chat, your fans, your team, your opponents, your mom, whoever. The floor is yours.
Well, thanks Luciodology for putting up a really good fight and giving us some really fun games. Like at the end of the day, that's what this is about, is getting really good games against good opponents. And so, I mean, we loved every second of it, win or lose. And to come back on that Ultra game was just, I mean, way to stay in it. And that's just awesome. And also shout out to my team. We played really well today, thanks to Hack Trick, who stepped in as our offlane sub, because our main solo laner is on vacation somewhere, but I'm sure he was watching. So Zego, I hope you're doing well out in the beach. And thanks to our bros over at Churchill Murky for scrimming with us this week to get us ready for these games. And for everyone that was tuning in, it feels cool that someone wanted to watch us play games. I hope we put on a good enough show for everybody. Don't sleep on the dudes. We're going to be here all season. We're going the distance. And thanks for casting us, Aero. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. And you know what? I do want to, point out that, and I mentioned it at the beginning of the stream, but, the reason that this cast was picked up, or specifically by me anyways, was because it was scheduled so early. It gave us the opportunity to make sure that we could get that set up early. And I think I've got your guys' schedule for next week as well. So, get your matches scheduled early.
All of our games are on the calendar. I think our flex game is on there. If not, it should be. I've got it scheduled with the team. So, any casters that are listening, the Baddest Dudez are the best team to cast because we schedule early. And thanks to all the other teams for helping us schedule early.
There you go. Absolutely. Well, Cactus Ham, thank you very much for joining me tonight. I appreciate you taking the time to do the interview. And good job on your victory tonight in 2.5 games.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
All right. And that is going to conclude us tonight, as that would be my friend Al. Why don't you come over here, huh? You want to come here? You want to say something? Okay. Well, Slexia and Brute, I want to say thank you for the bits in the middle of the interview there. I didn't want to interrupt Cactus Hand there. But do appreciate the bits and everybody for stopping by. We're going to go ahead and send you over. I think that Ziltoid is just getting started. So let's see if I can set you up to go over and say hi to him this time. So once again, thanks for joining us in this 3-game series between the Baddest Dudez and Luciodology. 2-1 in favor of the Baddest Dudez. And don't forget to check us out on the Nexus Gaming Series page, twitch.tv/Nexus Gaming Series on Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern for the NGS Rewind, where we look back at some of the matches that did not get cast this week. It's been a pleasure. Have a great night.